Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the debut grand opening of Mad Villain Bistro Bed and Breakfast Bar Grill Cafe Lounge on the Water, where we offer you the finest and the finer things. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Live on the beats.
Okay, everybody, you already know who it is. I don't need to introduce myself. You clicked on the video, so let's dive right on into it. I want to talk about today, in today's video, the fact is, I'm not going to be playing Street Fighter V anymore. And I know I already said this in the past, but I'm actually meaning it this time. Like, I try to give this game chance after chance after chance, but in conclusion, this game sucks. And even if I was like excited to, even if, like, say, like, I had motivation to even do Street Fighter V content still, that shit would dissipate rather quickly because, to put it bluntly, it gets absolutely no views on my channel, really. And that's because of Street Fighter 6. Nobody gives a shit about Street Fighter 5 no more. I mean, I will put up a few pictures to show exactly what I'm talking about. Because when you have people like Vespa Arcade and then like these FGC like YouTubers like putting up like highlight matches and shit like that, right, when it comes to Street Fighter 6, the views that they get for Street Fighter 6 versus Street Fighter 5 are basically night and day for like a lot of channels. So I'm not gonna put time and effort into a game that, one, I already hate, and two, who I quite frankly don't give a shit about. And especially when I know that it doesn't get any viewership. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to put seeds into soil that's already dried up. That's a waste of my time. And honestly, most of the Street Fighter V's problems are still there to this day. The netcode is still ass. The wait time to find a fucking match is ridiculous. It can sometimes take for like 5, almost like 30 minutes to find a match. The input drops are still a thing. I mean, you will see that all the time. I'm in this clip that I'm doing right now. People can come to me and go like, hey, probably because you what you said because you got something in your combos and shit like that. Well, no shit, I suck because the game is dropping my combos. And then the game is too delayed too on top of that. So I gotta deal with that issue. Because I can't be positive about something when I know it still has these problems to this day. And plus the V triggers and shit like that, the crush counters, it basically just eliminates neutral for the most part. Because I gotta be afraid to play neutral. But that's besides the point. My point is that I'm not doing Street Fighter 5 anymore, bro. And that's why the reason why some of y'all subscribe to me. And I'm not saying like I'm not proclaiming to be like this pro player and shit, but like I do have good moments. I mean, I can play with the worst of, I can play with the best of them, and I can still get some results. But it's too tiring for me to do that and keep going. It's too tiring. Because even people that are better than me say the exact same shit that I say. But the difference is that when it comes to like pro players, when they say it, it's facts. But when I say it, I'm a scrub. It can be the exact same thing. And guess what happens? I get ridiculed while they get praised. So I had enough of that shit. Personally. And also I'm gonna be trying like new games. I'm trying to get into Zerd. Zerd is kind of floaty for me, so it's going to take me a long time to actually understand that game and get good at it. So there's that. Then I'm probably be returning to Skullgirls too. But the main thing is, after seeing Street Fighter 6, I really don't give a shit about any other fighting game right now, to be honest with you. And that's me putting it bluntly. And what else can I say? Oh, there was another thing I was about to say. Damn, what was it? Oh yes, yeah, I remember. That, and I'm just so sick of like people from like the FGC and shit. And let me put this as a disclaimer. One, I'm not part of the FGC. I left that shit years ago. I'm just a dude that loves fighting games. That's it. And plus, it feels like all the criticisms that I made about this game are finally coming to pass. Because I think everybody knew this game was trash. It's just that people didn't want to say it was trash because this is the only Street Fighter out right now. I mean, really think about it. I mean, let's talk about like people like Vesper Arcade and like a few other YouTubers, Maximilian Dude, etc. That's right. After that open beta, nobody's giving a flying fuck about Street Fighter 5. Vesper Arcade's views skyrocketed when he was doing Street Fighter 6 content. When he did Street Fighter 5 content, barely gets no views. It's a night and day difference. So why should I give a shit when I know they don't give a shit? Because to put it bluntly, I think they knew. Like even some of the top dogs knew that that game was a piece of garbage. But guess what? It was their bread and butter at the time. So there's that. So in conclusion, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not putting myself through that shit when I know nobody else is going to do the same thing. I mean, it's complete garbage. But let me make my next point after this bump. Okay, and we're back. But the next thing I want to talk about is my hopes and concerns about Street Fighter 6. Do I think Street Fighter 6 has made some improvements upon like its previous iteration, which was Street Fighter 5? Absolutely. I do have high hopes for that game. In fact, this is my honest opinion, but Street Fighter 6 is looking like the closest thing that we had to a hardcore game, technical game, in like almost 10 years. Now, is it exactly like Street Fighter 4 days? Hell fucking no. I wish, well, I may not even know for sure. It may have one frame links, it may not have one frame links. That's half the issue. The real issue is, are these combos hard to execute? Or any old Flojo, little Timmy can do this shit? That's the question. The honest answer is, I don't know. I haven't had my hands on the game, so I can't tell you. But the way it looks and actually how it plays, it actually looks like it rewards you for real neutral, not just spamming high priority normals like you could in Street Fighter 5 and get a crush counter. That's ridiculous. But I think Street Fighter 6 has made fast improvements, and the biggest improvements is the netcode, because I've seen people play the beta, right? People said the netcode was way better, and people were winning way more too. They were actually able to do their real combos and shit like that without really dropping that much. Like, for example, I was watching Dead Ace and shit, right? Like, the dude was just mad winning. And I already know he's like kind of like a pro player-ish, but like at the same time, he'd be losing to random scrubs like Butterbean Clit 69 or some shit like that, right? Like, just online weirdos. But all of a sudden, when it comes to Street Fighter 6, this dude's just dominating for the most part. So I'm really glad that Street Fighter 6 actually rewards honest neutral and honest play, because there are too many characters in Street Fighter 5 that can absolutely just skip neutral and just rob your ass, period. And I can't play the characters that I really like to play, like Gil. And Gil, mind you, he's low tier. He's, in my opinion, he's trash. Not because like, oh, he doesn't have this, and this. It's because he has no choice but to play honest. He cannot skip neutral for nothing. He has to play it 24/7. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the amount of work you have to do with Gil is just stupid. And there's just too many characters in this game particularly that can just skip neutral. They can just say like, you know what, fuck it, I don't feel like playing your ass, honestly. I'm just gonna rob you. I'm just gonna rob you. I'm just gonna rob you blind. And I'll be right back because I got another bump that's about to come up, so check it out. Okay, and we're back again, and plus people are gonna be wondering like, well, what am I gonna do now for like content and shit like that? Honestly, I think I'm just gonna discuss topics and kind of branch out from just a dude that just plays fighting games, because I want to actually reach out further, have a further reach within like YouTube and shit like that. I just don't want to be stuck with like fighting games 24/7. Like, I think I'm more talented than just a dude that plays video games, because I can actually spit some opinions that people may like, may not like. I don't give a shit. It's just that like, I just want my opinions to be out there. It's just something further beyond than what I'm doing right now, because there's a lot of things in society, period, that I can have an opinion on and shit like that. So I'm gonna start expressing that stuff too and make those into videos as well. But pretty much, I just completely feel demotivated just to even play fighting games at this point. It feels like more like a chore than actual fun thing to do. And you go like, yeah, I can upload this thing. It was fun. I can upload it and see what happens. I don't have that drive anymore for it. I don't. To put it bluntly, I really don't. But I really hope Street Fighter 6 brings back my passion for fighting games, because Street Fighter 5 on numerous occasions, it basically almost killed all drive for it because of how shitty it was. Even looking at it as from a casual perspective, like a casual perspective for even single player content, Street Fighter 5 is complete trash. Because it's arcade mode, it sucks. It's basically just survival mode with arcade paint. And the story mode, it was hot garbage. You had to wait 7 months for the actual story mode to even come to Street Fighter 5 after its initial launch. And then the general story, complete crap. I mean, it's basically a joke in comparison to Street Fighter 4. The reason why Street Fighter 4 was good, even from a casual single player content perspective, is because it had animated epilogues, it had animated prologues, it had animated rival cutscenes, it had secret bosses, it had the whole shebang. Street Fighter 5 pretty much had nothing. It pretty much had one bonus stage, you know, have your boss that can be just be an extra battle boss, pretty much, and that's it. And oh yeah, in the general story, it was complete garbage. The general story was even worse, because you actually had like those rival cutscenes and shit like that, right? But they just, all they do is just voice over their fucking idle poses. It's not even animated. If that doesn't scream lazy, I don't know what the fuck does. But in conclusion, man, I'm looking forward to Street Fighter 6. I am. And I'm not like this old negative dude 24/7 that loves to complain about fighting games in general. I'm not. I'm just a person that just honest with his opinions. I'm not gonna censor it, and I'm not gonna fucking pull a Maximilian dude and act like I love all fighting games when I know I don't. Nothing is above scrutiny. Not even myself. So that's how it is. If people got a problem with that, well, you can go gladly to another channel that's going to kiss the ass of every game that comes out. Like Maximilian Dude, for example. I don't personally hate the guy, but at the same time, I know the reason why he defends the casual audience. Because his audience is nothing but casual, pretty much. So of course he's going to have no choice but to defend it. And I can't stand by that when I know for a fact the things that he's defending sometimes are not worth defending. Yet he'll still make an excuse for it, because put it bluntly, that's where the bread and butter is. That's where his money comes from. I mean, think about how Street Fighter 5's terrible launch was. Like how he said all the casuals matter. They'll matter until they no longer need you. Trust me, I've seen it happen far too many times. Like casuals say casuals are fans too. Yeah, and they'll also become the most entitled kind of group of chuckle fucks that you'll ever see when they don't need you anymore. I mean, look how fighting games are now. For the most part, they're easy mode. They're easy mode. Oh, and look how fast, like, oh, excuse me, I'm rushing myself. And the fact that so many fighting games are easy mode, these dudes these little Timmies and shit like that, their egos get so swelled up thinking that they're better than what they actually are. And Street Fighter 5 was a perfect example of that. And when 9 times out of 10, when a lot of games become brain dead easy, like brain dead casual, they die really, really, really fast. I mean, look at DNF Duel, for example, right? DNF Duel didn't even last 2 months. That is one of the biggest drop-offs, if not the biggest drop-off I have ever seen a fighting game have ever. Even Melty Blood, when it initially released, right? He didn't even die that fast. It at least took 4 months before it had to die before it got resurrected due to having an overall rehaul of everything. And now it's playable. DNF Duel never got that. And it never will improve because honestly, I think it's just a cash grab. I think it was. I'm just being blunt honest. And that game was just terribly designed. The balancing was just pretty much non-existent. The defensive mechanics pretty much non-existent. You don't even have air blocking. And the characters is just all over the place, to put it blunt. Like Swiftmaster, for example, right? Swiftmaster was just in a league of his own in its entirety. He was just in a league of his own. Nobody could touch him. He even made top tier characters look like trash. And I didn't even really play that game long either because I saw the numbers just dwindling like crazy. And I said to myself, you know what? This game ain't even worth like trying to even get good at. Like I played a few matches, not even doing it. Not even doing it because there's no clout, no views, no nothing. So I said, nah. And plus, that game is still overpriced too. Like charging $50 for like players on PC alone. You can barely even get 50 players nowadays on PC. So why charge $50 still to this day? And plus, people going to say like, just wait for the next update in this and that and third, right? Okay. If it took that many updates to make the game even remotely playable now, well, I'm just saying this as a what if. If it takes that many updates to make a game playable, you should have never released it in the first place, knowing it had that many problems. You should have just delayed it, or better yet, if you didn't feel like fixing the fucking problems, don't release the game entirely. Don't get people's hopes up and then like, oh, wait a minute, the game's trash. It's ridiculous. But anyways, in conclusion, I'm ready for Street Fighter 6. I'm just bouncing around other fighting games and see what I like and don't like. I'm just bouncing around. I probably might just take a break for a while. I probably might just stream like casual games and shit like that, like first-person shooters or like adventure games and shit like that. Nothing that has to do with fucking fighting games. You just take a rest. But that's it for right now. So just enjoy the rest of these clips, and I'll catch you next time. See you.
Round 1. Fight!
to sell what it sounds like. But we dealing with music. So what I did was I said, all right, look, I'm gonna come with the angle of it don't matter what I look like, you know, it don't matter what the artist look like, it's more what the artist sound like. So the mask really represents the whole, like, to rebel against trying to sell the product as a human being, you know what I mean? It's more of a sound, so, you know, and at the same time, it's something different, you know what I'm saying? And it fits with the theme of the rebel, the villain, where, you know, to him, he don't care about the fame and all that shit. That shit is, there's no consequence, you know what I mean? It's more of the message of what's being said. So I think it helps people focus